Welcome to Sharika Talks, Unraveling the Truth, a journalist's quest. Subscribe for the truth.
Chapter 38, The Reality Distortion Field. You just told me, Sakin said in his calm voice, a faint smile touching his lips. When I mentioned your boss, you didn't flinch, but when I mentioned your father, your reaction confirmed it. Adam slowly loosened his grip on the Glock, though he didn't release it completely. How do you think I built a billion-dollar organization from scratch? Sachin continued, sipping his rum. I can see through lies and manipulation. I've been watching you since the hospital. The way you speak, the way you behave, I was sure you were not just an operative. When I saw you eavesdropping on my conversation with Kailesh, I was certain. He leaned forward slightly. Then I realized someone had checked my wallet. The order of the cards, which I've memorized for years, was wrong. I also noticed SIM 1 and SIM 2 in my broken phone had magically swapped positions. I've been suspecting you were the man behind Kailesh, just as I run Deep Enterprises. That's one of the reasons I wanted this drink with you, to find out. As we talked, I was certain that there was someone behind you. I almost thought I lost you when you didn't flinch at the mention of your boss. Sachin paused again, then said, If you put it like Bud Tribble said about Steve Jobs, I've developed a version of my own reality distortion field, like Steve Jobs did. He chuckled softly. He could still remember every page of Steve Jobs by Walter Isaacson, idolizing the brilliance but consciously rejecting the arrogance. Adam stared at Sachin for a long moment, the cogs turning in his mind. Finally, he nodded and released his grip from the Glock. I can't tell you my father's real name or his story, but I can take you to him if you wish. Yes, you were right. We weren't sure what to do with you. I want to come, Sachin said, his sudden words surprising Adam. Consider me a friend. By 10 p.m., they had finished the second bottle. They decided to stay there until all the girls' whereabouts were confirmed, and Adam said he also had some affairs to sort out. When Sagar came to support Sachin back to the safe house, Sachin waved off Adam's offer to help him get a new phone. I want to be untethered for a while, he replied simply. As he stepped out of the bar into the cold, misty night, the rum had done its job. He couldn't feel the cold or the pain. He settled onto his bed in the dormitory and instantly fell into a deep, heavy slumber, surrounded by the soft breathing of the rescued girls. The first thing he saw the next morning was the curious face of 6-year-old Sonam Pandey, playfully twirling his messy hair. His eyelids felt weighted with lead. Every inch of his body ached with the familiar, deep muscle pain that always followed the exhaustion of a real fight. He chuckled. No one ever talks about the muscle pain. As he got up from the bed, he heard Kailesh Satyajit speaking to the media on a television playing news in the corner of the hall. After freshening up, he found himself playing with the little girl. He had always liked kids. She was trying to teach him Bhojpuri, and he, in return, started teaching her English. He quickly became friends with almost all the girls. The youngest was Sonam, and the oldest was a 21-year-old named Latika Rokaya. More than half were from Bihar, the rest from Nepal. His mere presence seemed to lighten the oppressive weight in the safe house, making them all laugh. Sometimes, Foundation members or doctors would rush into the hall, alerted by the loud noises, only to find a room full of laughing children. After lunch, a Foundation worker told Sachin that the safe house, usually as silent as a graveyard, now felt like a real home. He smiled. Days passed in a repeating pattern. His day would start with Sonam Pandey waking him, and the hours would rush by, filled with laughter, Sachin's stories, his attempts to teach them English, and his own efforts to learn Bhojpuri, a language he was grasping quickly. Learning languages came easier to him than to most. He paid Sagar to buy a bunch of chessboards, and he taught them all how to play. Adam, despite his broken arm, seemed constantly busy, but he would drop by every evening. They would go to the bar and talk for hours over drinks. A strange bond of fondness grew between them, built on a mutual recognition of shared burdens, though both were still carefully studying the other. By January 21st, during their nightly drinks, Adam informed him that all the girls' families had been traced and his jobs were also finished. They could start their journey the next day. After dropping all of them home, they would go to Adam's home. Sachin nodded. His leg and bicep wounds had finally healed, and he could walk with a soft cushioned shoe. His right palm still had a healing wound. Adam's arm remained in a sling. Balbindar Singh, who had just been discharged a few days ago, joined them that night. As Adam introduced him, Sachin apologized deeply. "It's okay. I can understand your mental state at that time," Balbindar Singh said politely. The next day was a flurry of emotional goodbyes. Sachin gave all of them the number of one of the Sixers, instructing them to call for any help they ever needed and explaining what to say. The girls cried as they parted. Sachin personally went to Sonam Pandey's home to see her settled, gifting her a thick gold chain. He knew it was because of his time with these children that he had been able to forget his own sorrows, even if just for a moment. But Deepa's memory still lingered, a permanent ache in the back of his mind. As they crossed the Sonali border into Nepal, Sachin noted the lack of security. No one even checked their vehicle. "This border will be closed in a month or two," Adam stated casually, as if predicting the weather. Sachin looked at him with amusement. "Why? Really?" Adam asked, surprised. "I understood that you don't follow the news due to your busy schedules, but for the last 2 weeks?" "Not a fan of the media," Sachin replied sheepishly. "It's not in the headlines yet, but there's a highly contagious virus named COVID-19 originating in China. Most countries are closing their borders." "Oh, my father doubts it's a failed bioweapon," Adam added, his voice low. "He isn't home right now, but he'll be back tomorrow morning." It was about 11 p.m. when they crossed Butwal City and began the steep, winding climb toward Adam's home. As the road curved, revealing a breathtaking vista, Sachin asked Sagar to stop the Jeep. "Please turn off the lights." At first, Adam didn't understand. Then, as he followed Sachin's gaze upward, he got out of the Jeep. "Oh, it's the Milky Way. Our," Adam started explaining, just like he had explained the news. "Our galaxy," Sachin completed the sentence for him, his voice quiet, almost reverent. "Consists of over 300 billion stars and is 100,000 light years wide. Yes, I know. I have studied a little physics and like astrophysics." He stared up at the luminous, swirling river of light. It was the first time he saw the Milky Way in this much brightness. His mind drifted. Physics suggested almost all those stars had planets. Many would be life habitable, and life might not even be carbon and water-based, as it was on Earth. Billions of worlds, separated by vast oceans of space and time, teeming with intelligent life forms, their lives, their wars, their loves. And here he was, standing on a planet that was less than a speck of dust in that galaxy, mourning a single woman out of the 4 billion on this one speck. The insignificance of it was crushing. And yet this Milky Way was just one of trillions of galaxies. How utterly insignificant was a single human life, he thought, and yet we all cling to it as if it's the center of the universe. Sachin spent almost half an hour lost in that vast, silent awe until Adam's hand gently touched his shoulder. As they got back in the Jeep and moved on, he was still thinking about the vastness of the real world, not his world, but the universe, and how terrifyingly small his own had become. End of chapter 38.
Thank you for watching Unraveling the Truth, A Journalist's Quest. Subscribe to stay updated on Sharika's journey. Stay tuned for the next part.
Disclaimer. Unraveling the Truth, A Journalist's Quest is a work of fiction. The experiences, ideas, and theories presented by the characters, including the books they write, are purely fictional and do not reflect real-world events, beliefs, or ideologies. While some incidents and characters may be inspired by real-world scenarios, they are entirely fictionalized for storytelling purposes. The author does not endorse or share the viewpoints expressed by any character in this novel. Any resemblance to actual persons, living or dead, or real events is purely coincidental. Viewer discretion is advised.